Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll discuss how single mothers blame men for being bad fathers, even though they chose to have children with these men. Why doesn't a beta provider show up to take care of Chad's kids? Watch as a woman tells a single mother the harsh truth about why children of single mothers are almost always the ones who end up in jail. Your support is super important to us. Give us a like and subscribe to the channel. We're aiming for 150,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Share your experiences and advice in the comments. That's what helps this community grow. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any videos. Now, let's get started.
Sometimes being a single mom makes me feel completely robbed of my motherhood experience. I know deep in my bones that if I had more support, I could show up better. I know I would be more patient. I would have so much more time to just pour into myself and be a better mom and also pour into my son. But being a single parent or an only parent means that you're literally doing everything on your own. You carry 100% of the burden. And sometimes I wonder who I would be if I had more support. During my pregnancy, especially when Adrian was younger, and especially now. And then you wonder how your kid's going to remember you. And usually when you have two healthy parents, someone can just step in when the other one's having a mental breakdown or they need space. And you don't get that when you're a single parent, or at least you don't get that when you're the only parent. And the kicker is that you can never fully lean into your maternal energy because you're always shape-shifting from masculine to feminine because you have to give tough love too. And sometimes I don't want to be the bad guy. Any major life decision, any parenting decision is made completely on your own. And you will spend 50% of the time wondering if it was the right call and not having anyone to be like, yes, babe, that was right. Or you're not crazy. Or I back you on that. Not to mention realizing that literally 90% of the memories that I make with my son, I'm the only one who will remember and I have no one to share them with because kids don't remember stuff. And I know I'm a good mom, but I just know it's not supposed to be this hard.
And if you wanted all that, why didn't you stay married? Why didn't you stay with the father of your child? Why did you choose to be a single mother if what you longed for was something different? All I see is someone who wants things they once had and let go. It's well known that the most important decision in a woman's life is choosing the father of her children, seeking out a Chad for fun, and then, when things get serious, hoping a beta provider will come along to fix the chaos. But men who have worked hard to become providers are not going to accept that burden. No one wants to carry the weight of another man's mistakes. I've always said that a man should take responsibility for his seed, and the men of value watching this video who are fathers do just that. The real problem here is that society has normalized and even praised female independence to such a degree that the consequences are being ignored. Raising a child alone is not ideal, and while it may sound harsh, that's the reality. Making decisions without considering the long-term consequences, like who will be the father of your child, is what leads to these kinds of difficulties.
You want to know what the worst part about being a single mom is you get robbed of a certain motherhood experience. It just doesn't exist for you. When you're a single mom, you don't get to operate in a certain way because you're carrying a different type of load. And that, I think, is the most frustrating / heartbreaking thing because it's just damn, if I had a different level of support, the way that I could run, the way that I could carry it. And props for how you carry the load that you have. But it's just you sit there and you think how great could I have been had I had the certain level of support that I deserved during pregnancy, during raising your children, whatever that looks like. It's just I don't know, sometimes I have that moment of reflection where I'm wow, not only did you not show up, you stole something from me.
God didn't take anything from you. It was your free will that led you to give that man access to your bed. I don't believe you didn't see other men. You simply chose him to father your child. Now that the expected result of having a child with a Chad has come to pass, you complain about the burden that comes with it. Those with a mentality that life owes them something are always the ones who perceive themselves as the victim. It's like saying that all the decisions you made have nothing to do with what happened. This is why we say that responsibility is kryptonite for women, because they remove themselves from the problem. Many women regretfully say, if I had had support, everything would be different. Of course, everything would be different if, From the beginning, they had chosen a man who was willing to share the burden. But here's the issue. First, they choose Chad for the fun, and then they complain when that same man isn't there for the responsibilities.
All of my single moms, I just need to know, are you guys okay? Like, at what point does it stop being terrifying? But you have someone else's entire life laid in your hands. I've been having some just really hard days. Where are you guys keeping it together?
Single mothers have a high rate of raising children who become criminals. Studies have shown that children of single mothers are at a significantly higher risk of facing serious issues in adulthood, such as academic failure, poverty, and entry into the penal system. According to the Brookings Institution, children raised in single-parent households are almost twice as likely to live in poverty compared to those growing up in families with both parents present. Furthermore, the American Sociological Association has reported that these children are 20% to 30% less likely to complete high school, which increases their long-term economic and social vulnerability. When it comes to the penal system, the statistics are alarming. A study by the U.S. Department of Justice revealed that children of single mothers are more likely to end up in prison than those raised in two-parent households. But of course, they don't need a man. They're strong and independent.
Baby, how am I picking them? You're part of the problem. Why am I attracting that? Bro, it's the same thing I always say. If you 3 baby daddies in and they all deadbeats, you are a poor decision-making woman. And I'm not trying to beat that down, into you, but maybe you need to stop for a second, stop popping them kids out like they candy, and chill out and reassess yourself and really reevaluate and be like, okay, what's going on with me? Because I'm not a cum bucket, because that's how it's coming off. That's how it come off to me. I'm sorry. Anybody that want to release in me can. There's no specialness in it. Anybody could get me pregnant. That's how I feel. That's how it looks. You don't have no type of self-control or thought process. You knew this dude for 3 months. And then this another thing. We were just talking. I was talking to my makeup artist about this. If you are someone who is not a good judge of character, and girl, by 2 baby daddies, you know if you a good judge of character. I don't care, because if both is bad, both baby daddies deadbeats, like we said, girl. So if you know that, right? Wait, get to know them. People can only hide who they are for so long, unless they are psychopaths. Or you're just completely lying to yourself.
Finally, a woman with her feet on the ground. You are the one choosing the man. You've known him for barely 3 months, and you already have a child with him. I can feel some sympathy for a woman who was married for many years, had children, and then the father dies or cheats on her. After that, they split up, and the man wants nothing to do with the kids. That man is at fault there because he's not taking responsibility for his seed. Every man should be responsible for his children. But for a woman who says, "Why do I attract bad men?" If you already have children with 3 different men, and all of them turned out to be problematic, then the problem isn't them. The problem is you. If you've been involved with several men who are no good, it's time to stop and reassess how you choose your partners. It's not about bad luck, it's about making bad decisions over and over again. Then you want men to feel sorry for this and expect them to date single mothers and care for the child as their own. Men are no longer beta providers for anyone. They've learned that this is a bad idea.
Single mothers are literally the worst parents on the entire planet. That's the first thing. And statistics back that. So over 70% of young men that grow up under a single mother in particular, end up in prison. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, 68% of young women that grow up under a single mother in particular end up a single mother herself. But when it comes to a two-parent family and a single father household, a young man has a 90% chance of never going to prison. And that is one of the biggest differences why we men have to go get our children from these freaking women. That is an issue, because the reason why so many of us are messed up is because we were all, or most of us, were raised by women, which are the worst parents on the entire planet, statistical wise.
First of all, single mothers are not the worst parents on the entire planet. I think the disadvantage that comes with single parenting is the worst situation on the entire planet, because the kids are truly at a lot of disadvantages. And if you're a woman and you intentionally choose to keep your children's father out of their lives, you're putting them at this disadvantage. And that's just pure witchcraft, period.
Totally. If a man has children with a woman, not all men want to disappear from the equation. The problem is that a judge steps in and tells you that you can see your child once a week, or the mother starts putting up obstacles so you can't see your child, only to demand money just for the chance to be with them. It's well known today that having children, for many single mothers, is almost like a business. Many threaten the father, demanding more money or gifts just to allow him time with his children. They even make plans on the father's visitation days, and like this woman says, they deliberately choose to keep the man out of the child's life. It's worse when she is the one who files for divorce, 80% of the time, and then also wants to push the father out of the children's lives with financial blackmail. Some fathers haven't seen their kids in years because the mother has made their lives impossible. We're not even talking about cases of paternity fraud, but there is a serious problem with single mothers, and the world applauds them as victims when, in many cases, they are the real problem. Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll be looking at several somewhat creepy stories about the behavior of some modern women. We'll also see how one woman tries to downplay what a man does for his partner, telling other women to stop applauding their husbands for doing what she considers the bare minimum. We'll also watch how a girl gets stood up on a date, leading her to say, "This is why I don't like men." Your support is super important to us. Give us a like and subscribe to the channel. We're aiming for 150,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Share your experiences and advice in the comments. That's what helps this community grow. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any videos. All right, let's get started.
I just got stood up on a date and I refuse to cry over this, but this is the outfit that I was wearing. I was wearing this white t-shirt, this blue skirt, and then these little pink tights, or these little white tights with the bows on them. And I honestly thought that like this outfit was pretty cute. I guess the guy that I was going to see did not, because I was sitting at the table and I was waiting for him. And then he told me he was on my street. I told him I didn't see him. And then he had just blocked me. I knew this was going to happen. I was texting my friend. I always know when things like this are going to happen. This is the first time, by the way, that like anyone's ever looked at me and ran the other direction. And it really puts into question, like, am I ugly? Can I not see it? Like, maybe someone needs to be honest with me. I don't know. But I was texting my friend saying, I think this guy's going to stand me up. And she was like, no, he wouldn't do that. Why would he do that? And I could just tell, because like, as like I was getting dressed to go, he was like, oh, send me a picture of what you're wearing. Send me a picture of what you're wearing. And I was like, why? Like, I felt like that was so weird. Like, he was looking for some kind of validation. And I was like, why do I need to like show you what I'm wearing? And then he was like, oh, I just want to know like how to dress. And I was like, okay, well, just dress how you normally do. Like, it's chill, right? And then I get there and he's like, oh, don't sit down at a table, wait for me outside. And like he was running late. So I thought, oh, well, I mean, I can do that, but like, wouldn't you rather I grab us a table? He was like, well, it's as you want. So I was like, okay. So then I end up grabbing us a table because like there's not gonna be any space left, right? Like this place was packed. I get us a table and the table just happens to be on the street, literally facing the direction of the way he's gonna come. So he's walking to me, I guess. He's on my street. He's texting me, oh, I'm on your street. I look around, I don't see him. And then I wait 10 more minutes and I'm like, this is weird. How can he be on my street and still not be here after 10 minutes? I click on his profile. He had blocked me. And it is so embarrassing because I had like 3 waiters come to the table and ask me, hey, like, are you still waiting for someone? Like, do you want to grab a drink? Are you like, what are you doing? And I kept saying, no, I'm waiting for someone. I'm waiting for someone. And he made me wait literally 40 minutes. This is why I do not like men. This is why I do not trust men. This is the first date that I've gone on in literally 2.5 to 3 months. I do not like men. And this is why, like, making me feel so ugly. And like, I know I'm not ugly and I don't know what it is. I don't know why he felt like he had to see me, block me, and like couldn't even say hi and grab a drink with me. Like, I don't know what about me was so repulsive, but man, it hurts so much.
Nobody likes being stood up. It's truly cruel. But let me tell you, this is something that happens to a lot of men. They say it makes you stronger, but I think in your case, one of 2 things happened. I believe you went out with a traditional man. He saw that woke style of clothing, how you dress like a little girl when you're actually an adult, and thought, this woman hasn't matured and could become a problem I won't be able to shake off. The second possibility is that nowadays, it's hard to tell if someone is a woman or a man, especially when they wear so much makeup and dress like a little girl. Many men avoid this because they don't want to end up in an awkward situation with someone who claims to be a woman. Those are my conclusions. Or maybe this Chad just decided to pass on you. It happens, and it's happened to almost every guy, so don't take it too personally. But now, I want you to hear the next story, which is quite creepy.
Trigger warning, incest, talks of incest.
Actually, I can't hear this one. Bye.
I, 20 female, hooked up with my stepbrother, 20 male, and I'm completely panicking. I'm 20 female, and my stepbrother is also 20 male. He's 5 months older. Our parents only got married a few years ago, so we only lived in the same house for 1 year. We weren't very close at all, more like awkward acquaintances, but we went to the same college. It's a small college near our town where basically everyone goes who stays in the area. We both are in the business school, and so we're in a lot of the same classes and activities, so we ended up having similar friends. We got closer as friends / siblings while in school, though my best friend is my roommate. We were all at a bar last Saturday, and my stepbrother was being really nice after a guy I was supposed to meet up with never showed. He kept buying me drinks and laughing at my jokes, and I was a little too drunk and I kissed him. He seemed really into it, and we went back to his place and had...
What?
It was...
What? I'm sorry. No. Pause the fucking phone line.
No, ready?
No. Are you ready? They kissed in public and not a single fucking person said anything? Like, bro, you're making out with your stepsister? You're telling me that they did this in public and then said, yeah, let's go back somewhere private? And no one said a fucking word. I'm repulsed.
So...
Oh my God.
It goes from... And we went back to his place and had... The next line, it was really good.
No! Female 20! No!
And he was complimenting me so much.
No!
And I was kind of bummed for a minute that he's not like some random guy. But then the second it was over and I left, I haven't answered his text since. And I've been nauseous ever since. I literally feel like the grossest person in the world. I don't know if I just initiated this because no one here has really liked me and I was feeling desperate or what. I feel so guilty and I don't know if I should tell my mom or block him or what. I'm going back and forth between having an anxiety attack and remembering like things about him. What the fuck? I don't know if I should transfer. Sorry for the rant. I'm in such a tailspin. Should I cut him off? Tell my mom? Pretend it never happened and just distance myself? Try to go back to being friends? Question mark? Help.
Girl, we need help.
This is truly the definition of keeping it in the family. How twisted the world has become. Brothers. People watch her getting involved with her stepbrother and act like nothing happened. That's how desensitized and morally bankrupt people are today. One kiss wasn't enough. They kept going. I feel like she had already been fantasizing about her stepbrother for a while. I don't excuse him either. To me, it's disgusting. But let's be honest, a man will always seek as much intimacy as he can get. If the mother or father finds out about this, I imagine this family would be completely destroyed. But given the state of morality today, maybe they'll just keep going because it stays in the family, right? It's because of things like this that we always say women make decisions based on emotions. She kissed her brother out of an emotion, and because of how it made her feel, she kept going. I know alcohol was involved, but even she doesn't use that as an excuse in her next update.
We need professional help after hearing that.
Okay, let's get back into this update. You all made me realize the big issue isn't that we're step siblings because it's not blood, but that if it goes badly, we will be in each other's lives forever. I went to the class that we're in together this morning. I skipped it on Monday because I was freaking out. And after we talked, he seemed really nervous and stressed and was worried that I wasn't okay. I told him how much I was freaking out. I even told him about this post, haha. I asked him and he admitted that he did have feelings for me, but was never going to act on them and was shocked when I kissed him. I didn't tell him anything about my feelings, but said I appreciated his honesty, but it can't happen again. He was okay with that and basically said he'll do whatever I want going forward.
I'm a little simp.
I'm a little bummed because I wish that he was a regular person, as in my good friend, not living in my house during winter break, and I could give it a shot. Part of the reason I think I avoided answering him for so long. He's one of the kindest people I know, and I'm obviously attracted to him. But the comments have solidified for me that it's not worth it to hurt my mom and potentially cause a rift in my family forever.
That's the concern.
Not when we can stop right now and stay friends. Some people were saying to just be friends with benefits, but I think we're way too close for that and it would turn into dating, so it wouldn't work. I do know this will probably be an issue with anyone else we date. However, I think it would have been an issue anyways. We hang out a lot. He's always doing things to help me, picking me up at night, opening doors for me, etc. And obviously some of that will have to stop if either of us start dating someone else. For now, we agreed to just stay friends like before and see how things go. As far as my mom goes, she really pushes for us to be a family. My dad isn't in the picture and my stepdad has kind of taken on the role of dad with my siblings. I don't think of him as my dad, but they do send me money every month, come visit me at school, and pay for my apartment. So I'm not exactly a full adult either, free to just completely make my own choices. And for the people saying he got me drunk and took advantage of me, we were at a college bar. Everyone was drunk. He was the same level as me, and I wasn't so drunk that I couldn't remember everything, so I don't think that's the case. For people saying it's fake, it's not. There's plenty of comments showing how this happens more than I realized, and if it was, I'm sure this update would be more exciting. LOL. We're going to see how it goes. We're acting normal for now. I'll update this update, haha, if anything major happens.
I've been mouth breathing for like 5 minutes. My jaw has just been open.
I gotta go follow this account.
Even I should follow that account. This is exactly what I mean when I say that women will always act based on how you make them feel. She made that decision purely on emotion. And I've always said, the greater a woman's attraction to you, the bigger the discount she'll give. She doesn't deny being attracted to him, and she doesn't deny that she wasn't so drunk that night as to not know what she was doing. She wanted it, plain and simple. The most twisted part here is that she's only worried about what her mom will think, not about hooking up with her brother. And what's even sicker is the response from people, suggesting they be friends with benefits. Brothers, that guy is her stepbrother. I know they don't share blood, but it's still pretty disturbing, especially when her stepdad is financing part of her life. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this, but check out the next story coming up. It's even crazier than this one.
You guys, this is the craziest story I have ever heard. I just have to share this, and this is why you have to be careful when you hook up with people when you're traveling to a foreign country. So this girl, I'm just gonna call her Natalie. I'll just use my name. So Natalie was traveling to, I don't want to say the name of the country, but she traveled overseas from America. And she was in this country for only a few days, and she ended up meeting this guy at a bar. We're going to call him Sam. So Sam and Natalie headed off, and they go to multiple dinners together, where I was told that Natalie said that he was constantly feeding her like an insane amount of food at each dinner. Like, it was her last night with Sam, and she still hadn't got back to his place. And he was really adamant about her coming back home with him. And he kept asking her at dinner, like, oh, you're going to come back home, right? You're going to come back home with me? Like, you leave tomorrow. Natalie got a little bit creeped out by it and ended up calling her sister because her and her sister were on the trip together. And she left the dinner. She didn't go back. She's like, oh, my sister needs me. I got to go, blah, blah, blah. And she said, like, Sam was blowing up her phone. Anyways, she gets on her flight. She goes back to the United States, and she develops, can't even say it. She develops a rash on her back. So she goes to the dermatologist, told her dermatologist, hey, like, I just came back from this country. Like, I developed this rash, not sure what this is. Test for it, and then, let me know what comes back. So she was on campus when she got the call from her dermatologist. Her dermatologist was, why am I saying it like that? Her dermatologist was like, call me right now. So her germ calls her and she's like, what are you doing? And we come to the office right now. Police are going to be here. And she was like, what's going on? And she's like, come, I can't say it over the phone. So the girl comes to the dermatologist's office and it wasn't even the police. It was FBI. Turns out that the rash that was on her back was actually a cream that was put that's used for cannibalism. The FBI ended up asking her, like, who have you met with in the last 6 months? She told them about the guy. FBI ends up working with the police in that country. They raid the guy's apartment and they found multiple skulls and limbs that belonged to several women that were missing. And he fully intended on killing her and eating her. Apparently, like, that's the reason why he was taking her to dinner and trying to really get her full. He just, I don't even know. Just be careful out there when it comes to hooking up with people because you never know, you never know.
This story sounds like something out of the Hannibal series. One thing I always tell every man is to follow his instincts. If something doesn't feel right, try to notice the red flags. This woman did, and if her story is true, all I can say is there are a lot of really crazy people out there. Here's a serious piece of advice. Don't blindly trust someone you barely know, especially in vulnerable situations, like being in a foreign country. No matter how well things seem to be going, always keep a critical eye open.
I swear to God, if one more woman comes on this app and says what a wonderful, exceptional, phenomenal husband or boyfriend she has, and then describes him as kind, nice, reliable, responsible, cleans, does laundry, helps around the house, is good and kind with his kids.
Let's just remember that any person that has to make a laundry list of what they consider the bare minimum is likely a person that can't meet those expectations themselves. These are the same types of women that will come online and ask men what the equivalent to flowers is for men. These are probably the same women that don't know how to be kind unless it benefits them or there's some motive behind it. These are the same women that can't take constructive criticism. These are the same women that are aggressive to their children and the people around them. These are the same types of women that are manipulators because who walks around making a tally list of what a person is or isn't doing only to minimize them down to the bare minimum, and you don't think that's toxic and delusional. These are the same types of women that in their motherhood, they think heating up dino nuggets and taking out carry out every single night and giving your kids a tablet with zero interaction makes motherhood so difficult. But based off her logic, that's the bare minimum. And everything that she's doing and everything that she's putting in, including that emotional labor that women love to cry about, would be considered the bare minimum. And if a man were to come online and minimize a good woman down to literally nothing, there would be outrage and he would be considered misogynistic. And then the majority of women will say some dumb shit like, well, this is stuff that we do every single day and we don't need praise or applause. Then why do you feel the need to come online every single day and prove that you're a good mother? Prove that you're changing through God or some form of therapy or on a healing girl era? Why do you have to come online and show all of the things that you're doing around the house if you don't need constant praise? Because you do, and you're full of fucking shit when you say that. And misery loves company, so of course she has to make this post to feel better about herself for not having any of those attributes that she listed, while simultaneously minimizing good men down because you can't attract them in the first place. But also misery loves company, so she wants women to minimize other men for her so she can feel less shitty about her hatred for men in the first place. Okay, bye.
It couldn't have been said better. The women who constantly criticize other women for having a good man are the same ones who envy that woman's luck for getting something they themselves haven't. A smart woman can sense the envy from the other, but foolish women just join in, criticizing the man and downplaying everything he does. Misery loves company. You know why that woman makes those videos? So that women with good husbands and a solid relationship dynamic start minimizing what their man does for them, making those women turn on their husbands and demand more, until they end up breaking the harmony they had built. This is why I always tell men to keep an eye on who their wife surrounds herself with and what content she consumes, because this kind of misery spreads like a disease. A lot of these women have hit the wall. They've made poor choices in men, and since life doesn't reward them for their bad decisions, they blame all men for it. But since we don't care about their opinions, they try to find women who agree with them or convince others to support their view. That's how movements that hate men come about, like the ones with women with purple hair. You all know who I'm talking about. Brothers, every day we keep proving that the wall shows no mercy.
never get the relationships that last like so long, and the girl's waiting for the ring, like she's waiting to get proposed to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sorry, how are you with this person for this long? You know me, within a year, if you don't pop the ring, you're lucky to have me, yeah? And right now, boyfriend and girlfriend, you don't have me.
Yeah.
Like, yes, we're in a committed relationship, but no. If my intention is marriage, I'm going to make it known. And if you don't make the time,
100%,
like, see you later, you're not serious.
If you know what you want and that's what you want and they're aware of it, 100%, I think there has to be some kind of like time frame, because otherwise what are you doing?
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll hear from a woman who shares the story of how she claims to have broken up with her fiancé. We'll also see a girl from a feminist collective who says that women should cheat on their partners with their relatives so that men can feel the pain that women feel. She's clearly deeply traumatized. Your support is super important to us. Give us a like and subscribe to the channel. We're aiming for 150,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Share your experiences and advice in the comments. That's what helps this community grow. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any videos. Now, let's get started.
If you're a yes person, like you just always say yes to everything, listen up. I was dating this guy for 4 years and he proposed to me. I said yes. I was 22 and at that time in my life, I said yes to everything. If somebody said that this was the career I should go into, I said yes. If someone said this is the religion you need to follow, I said yes. And yeah, sometimes I didn't say yes out loud, but with my actions, I did say yes. Back to that relationship. I obviously ended up breaking it off. I used to be a touring musician, and after one of my tours, I realized that one of the diamonds in my ring had fallen out. Now, as much as I tried to not take that as a sign that I shouldn't be with this person, I started asking myself some deep questions. And I asked myself, is he my best friend? Is he my fairy tale? Are we compatible? I brought these concerns up to him and it didn't go well. He ended up silencing me and we didn't talk for, I think it was about a week. But in that week, I realized that I was not meant to be with him. That he wasn't my fairy tale. He wasn't my best friend, and we just really didn't match up. I had already sent out over 200 save the dates, literally just the week before. After I decided to break it off with him, I begged him to have a phone call with me where I broke it off. I literally canceled our whole relationship. This was the first time in my life I asked myself what I really wanted and what I really needed, and why it was that I said yes when really I didn't know the answer. But actually, I did know the answer. I wanted to say no. That was 7 years ago now. And now I'm happily married to the love of my life. He is my best friend. He is my fairy tale, and we're super compatible. We've been married 5 years, and the guy that I broke up with, he is also now married to the love of his life. They have a kid together, and I wish them nothing but the best. I don't regret the choice that I made in saying yes because it taught me a lot. And I don't believe in regrets. But I could have saved myself a lot of heartbreak and heartache if I would have been able to ask myself the hard questions, what it is that I really want and what I really need before, and to not just people please and say yes to everything. So ask yourself, where have you been saying yes where you really should be saying no? And maybe where are you saying no when you really should be saying yes?
Decisions driven by emotion. Women are like that. In moments when you expect them to make decisions based on reason, they'll make important decisions based on how you make them feel, as you saw in the way she described it. It's my fairy tale. He's my best friend. We're compatible. All of these reasons are more emotional than from a well-thought-out life plan together. That's why sometimes you see women getting involved with men that you and everyone else know aren't good for them, yet they still choose to be in relationships.
Do you want to know what's hilarious? Finding out 5 days before Christmas that the wedding you've been planning for the last year and a half won't be happening as of 11 a.m. this morning because you found him in your house with the girl he told you not to worry about. Merry Christmas to me. But what's even better than that is what he said to me when I caught him. He said, I thought you said you weren't going to be home until 5:30. And he has a point. I guess I did say that. Maybe I should be grateful because better to find out now than later. But the pain is... And strangely, at the same time, I almost feel nothing. And I'm not sure what to do. I think I'm in shock. Like, I'm definitely in shock. I knew it. I knew it. Anyways, that's my monologue. If you don't mind letting me know in the comments what you thought, if you had any pointers, thank you guys so much.
For a moment, I even believed it. Because let's be honest, regardless of gender, this is horrible. Although it seemed a bit fake, because I doubt anyone's first reaction to something like that would be to record a video for TikTok. But then again, I've seen people record themselves crying, so nothing surprises me anymore. But what did you all think of the whole situation, brothers?
Tell y'all something that I cannot stop thinking about. So y'all know how those podcasts will repost like clips of their podcast on TikTok as opposed, and I can't remember these girls' podcasts. It was two girls. I wish I could remember so I could tag them, but if y'all know, tag them. Anyway, it was a girl talking about how like she turned her friend group around and how she realized that she needed to make new friends and leave some of her old friends behind, right? And in that podcast, it was a good little excerpt, but the thing that she said that really hit me was she said, how did you know like which friends needed to go, basically? And she said, because I was still performing around them. I was like, because I never had the language around what that feels like. Like, whenever you hang around your good girlfriends, you're at ease. You can just talk freely. You don't have to worry about, like, filtering the things that come out of your brain to your mouth. Like, you don't have to worry about that whenever you are with your good girlfriends. And it's because you're not performing. It's not performative. Like, you're literally just being yourself in an authentic way. And so she said that she was still performing around these people. And I was thinking, dang, like, in what areas of my life am I still performing? Like, obviously, it's necessary, like, at work and stuff like that. But, like when you're around your family or whenever you're around, like, certain friend groups or whenever you're around certain guys or in certain relationships, are you still performing? Do you feel like you can't be your authentic self? That is a question that really hit home for me.
It's well known that women don't have friends. They have competition. This leads to them constantly being hypocritical with one another. Men who have had a woman in their life, whether in relationships, family, or even working with them, notice this daily. Women never allow themselves to show weakness or fully trust each other. The woman who does this eventually realizes, sooner or later, that a woman's worst enemy is another woman. That's why you hear women say, I prefer to have male friends. At least they're more honest. A man who truly sees you as a friend will be direct and tell you things as he sees them. If any women are watching this, I hope you share your thoughts on why women tend to tear each other down so much.
Hot take, and I don't care if anyone hates me after this, but whenever I hear a dude say, just because I cheated on my wife doesn't mean I don't still love her, it makes me instantly want to get into a relationship with him just so I could meet his family and his dad, and then make it really obvious and make it really easy for him to find out so that he confronts me. And as soon as he confronts me, I'm going to say, just because I your dad doesn't mean I don't still love his son. I truly feel like that's the only way these losers will ever comprehend how stupid they sound when they say some shit like that. The very act of cheating is an unloving thing to do. So how delusional and insane do you have to be to do the most unloving thing you could do to your wife, who you vowed not to betray, and then say you still love her? It gets even more funny when you assess the average male and you realize that the average male does not love himself. And because he doesn't love himself, there's absolutely no way he's capable of loving someone else, even if that other person is his wife. And when you understand that, you understand why their idea of love is so twisted and backwards, and why they're okay with doing something so unloving to you and then turning around and telling you they still love you. They don't even have the slightest grasp on what it means to love someone, let alone show that through words and actions. And it just shows how disconnected they are when they can turn around and do something so hurtful to the person that they're claiming they love the most. Not to mention that these loser dudes have absolutely no valid reason to cheat on you anyway. The reason is boredom. It would make so much more sense if they could just say, I cheated on you because I got bored, but I still want to be with you. But the most annoying thing is the way that they will constantly lie and paint their actions out to be something that you know it's not, and gaslight you into thinking that they still love you and it was just a one-time thing and it didn't mean anything. If it didn't mean anything, then why did you do it? Because if that's the case, then where does the line get drawn between actions you take that don't mean anything and actions you take that mean something? Is our marriage meaningless?
Let me tell you what's going on. I'm not excusing infidelity, which is wrong and breaks trust. But here's what happens. Women are born with social value, and men are not. This makes a man's path clear. Unless he's won the genetic lottery, his path is to build himself up. This means that a man will work toward becoming his best version. Along that journey, he may end up in a relationship. As he becomes more stable, he becomes more desirable. Add to that the fact that he's already been pre-selected, meaning he becomes even more attractive to other women once one has chosen him. I'm not sure why it happens, but that's how women's hypergamy works. This leads to many more women being attracted to this man. One of the things that increases in a man in a relationship, if he's in good shape and financially stable, is his confidence, which is attractive to women. Also, the fact that he's off limits makes him even more tempting. This results in more women brazenly flirting with him. Now that I've explained this in the next part, I'll tell you how it all ends up playing out.
Because that's an action that you took. Saying, but I still love you after you cheat on your wife is a blatant lie and an insult to the intelligence of women. If you truly love someone, then you understand that love is the strongest force of all. And if you're truly in love with your wife, then that force is going to compel you to control yourself. And if it's not compelling you to control yourself and you have no desire to control yourself either, then you don't love that person. Saying, but I still love you is just a sad attempt to slap a band-aid over the betrayal and make it out to be something much smaller than it actually is, so that your wife doesn't leave you, so that you don't lose everything. All I'm asking is for men to be more honest with themselves and arrange their words in a way that is accurately reflective of their true feelings. The truth is, you want to have your cake and eat it too. You want to be a man who does not love himself, who does not love his wife, who does not respect his commitments to himself, who does not respect his commitments to his wife, and still has a wife. But men figured out that they can just use the L word, and women are going to be quick to forgive them and willing to give them another chance. And as much as I want to feel sorry for women who do this, I don't. Because at the end of the day, you know what love is. You know you love that man differently than he loves you. And you are not willing to throw away your entire marriage because you're okay with him loving you less than you love him. That's the honest truth of it. If your husband cheated on you and you stayed, then it's okay to just say, it's more important for me to have a man than it is for me to have a man who loves me the way I love him. Because when he says he loves you, what he means is he loves the way you make his life vibrant and exciting and easier and seamless. He loves the way you overlook his shitty behavior just to keep him in your life. He loves that you have low standards because he knows that if you had high standards, you know this too, you would have walked away at the first sign of disrespect. He loves that even though he showed you through his words and actions over and over and over again that he is settling for you, and that's why he feels comfortable entertaining so many other women, that is not a compelling enough reason for you to walk away from him permanently. Maybe I'm talking shit, but if I was married to a man and he cheated on me, I would his dad, and I would make sure he found out, and I would tell him Just because I f***ed your dad doesn't mean I don't still love his son. And I would pray that he has a brother so he could question which son I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm gonna come with that energy. Yeah, because the things y'all say to try to normalize your shitty behavior is insane. It's insane as me saying I'm gonna f*** your dad and then make you find out and then tell you that I love his son more than I love him. Sorry, not sorry.
As I said, I don't approve of infidelity, but as I explained earlier, unlike women who are born with social value, men are not. When a man starts to get more attention from women, his mind naturally seeks as much intimacy as he can get. This is part of our more primal instincts. I'm not excusing infidelity for this reason. Another thing to consider is that it's true that a man can love his wife, care for her, and still be with another woman simply for pleasure and that hunter instinct. Unlike women, who usually need to make some emotional investment with a man before being intimate, men don't operate that way. A man can be with a woman, block her out afterward, and carry on like nothing happened. That's why you hear a lot of men say, "I still love you." It's a cheap and stupid excuse, but it doesn't mean it's not valid. But as a woman, if you try to compare yourself to a man and seek revenge because you're still hurt by what happened with your ex-husband, it shows. You dye your hair pink, which is a huge red flag. This is the perfect example of why women, after bad experiences with a Chad, need therapy, because the next man who comes along will pay for all the things he didn't do. She ends up hating all men, as if we're all to blame for what happened to her. Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll dive into a very intriguing divorce story where a modern woman doesn't make it clear why they're not wife material, how her friends celebrate her divorce, the real reason her marriage ended, which she claims she can't quite explain. Brothers, don't miss it, because it's a story that reveals a fascinating truth. Your support means a lot to us. Give us a like and subscribe to the channel. We're aiming for 150,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Share your experiences and advice in the comments. That's what helps this community grow. Turn on notifications so you don't miss a single video. All right, let's get started.
I literally just got divorced. Am I done? I don't ever have to see him again. That was so hard. Just That was so painful. No, I couldn't look at him. I couldn't say hi. I couldn't say bye. I just walked away. You see that I loved the most in this entire world. The person I loved the most in this entire world, you know? That was it. That's how the story ends. I loved him with everything that I was. You know, it's done. Oh, God, I'm fucking broken, man. I fucking hurt. I kept it together, so but I did that shit. I did that alone. I got divorced alone. I did it myself. I did all the work. I did all the research. So I can't stop crying. I did all the research. I did all the work. I did all the paperwork. I did all those email documents. I fucking did it. He was there, when I arrived, like, he was there early. So I had to, like, walk up to him. He said hi and just in the, like, most shameful tone. I was shaking for a while. and then eventually like calmed down. And I calmed down because he was the person that I felt safest with. I don't know, my brain, I guess that was like a coping mechanism, I don't know. But I stopped shaking, and then we signed all the paperwork and went in, and it was relatively fast. I mean, there were a few things that we were missing, like name and address for, so we filled that out together. We like stepped aside and filled it out together, and then we went back to the window and gave them all the documents. And where's my advance? And I stayed strong. I stayed strong the entire time. That was grand. You are. But I'm gonna go to the pier. I'm just gonna sit at the beach and take a few deep breaths. That was so hard and sad.
As always, crocodile tears. Always trying to play the victim when you were the one who asked for the divorce. The worst part is, as you can see in the intro video, she went out partying with her other single friends that same day to celebrate. But supposedly, she just ended things with the person she loved most in the world. You can't believe this nonsense. But let me remind you, dear, that in a relationship, there are always two people involved. While you felt so broken but still went out partying with your friends, your ex was probably dealing with his own inner storm. Did you ever consider that it's not always easy for a man to face a breakup? It's like a kid getting his ice cream snatched away in one blow. And of course, it's not the fault of the person who took it, but of the one who didn't take care of his ice cream, right, brothers?
It has been almost a week since I got divorced and recorded that video. That video was my raw, vulnerable emotions after leaving the courthouse. I recorded it on my phone for myself. I tend to black out a lot of really heavy memories in my life, and this being the most difficult thing I've ever been through, I felt it was really important for myself to have recording of my initial reaction and thoughts and words. I'm really glad that I did. I sat with it for a few days. I watched it for a few days, and then I decided it was something that I wanted to share with the internet, because I did see how relatable it was, how raw it was, how common that women and people go through these things, and it is the most difficult day of their entire life, and there's no right way to process it. For me, I felt it was important to share. I am so thankful for the general support and kindness and love. All I want is women in my corner who are such badasses and, have been through it and see that the other side is worth it. The general feel of the negative rude comments are spam accounts or people that very clearly have not gone through what I'm talking about, so they just don't understand. So those comments are all deleted. But I appreciate everybody responding back to the rude ones. You're a real one for that. I have been separated and single for over a year now. The last year has, hands down without question, been the absolute best year of my entire life. I have accomplished and done things that I never thought that I would be able to do. The love and freedom that I have felt for myself and my life is inexchangeable. So I'm doing well. I'm in a really good headspace. I actually haven't been able to cry in a very, very long time. And that moment that I recorded was pretty much the first time that I've cried in 6 months, 8 months. And I'm really proud that I was able to feel it and breathe through it and be okay. I had so many incredible celebrations. I saw so many great people and just felt all the love. So big things are coming. I'm so, so proud of myself. I'm doing okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the love and the support.
That's why I've always said, on the wedding day, there's only one person getting married out of love, and that's the man. The woman marries for a lifestyle. This woman is the type who married for a ring and a big wedding. She films herself needing external validation, likely because many of her family members didn't agree, though her single friends cheered her on. Misery loves company, after all. For a man, this is his greatest fear. Marrying a young woman who one day suddenly wants a divorce, especially when going through a tough time, something common in first marriages. It's for reasons like this that men will tell you not to marry a party-going woman. These women don't want to be wives. They want to say they're married, or, even more so nowadays, they want to say they got divorced to paint themselves as victims of an abusive marriage. Remember, brother, if the toad comes from the streets, no matter how much you kiss it, it won't turn into a princess. It'll remain a toad.
There's been a lot of questions of why I've gotten divorced, and although I don't owe anyone anything, I do understand that people are very curious. In my case, I've been single for over a year, and there's still to this day a lot of conversations that were not had. There was a lot of information that I still haven't been given. So I think that there's not a simple answer and reasoning in my case. As far as the really deep personal reasoning, I don't think that that's something that needs to be shared on the internet as of now. I think that people who've gone through similar things easily understand that it's not a simple answer. There's usually not a simple reasoning. It's so multi-layered and difficult, and sharing the really deep personal reasons really does create a space of assumption and judgment and misunderstanding, and that's not something that I need through my healing. So I will share that I did enter a marriage very young, at 22, with someone from another country who, at the end of the day, did need something from me and did choose to enter a very serious marriage, legal attachment to me in order to gain something. And through it, I have learned that so much of my life was manipulated and lied about. And through it, I continued to believe in the good and continued to believe the lies and manipulation that I was being told because I cared so deeply about this person. I was so in it because I wanted so desperately to believe in that fairy tale love that I was being promised. I wanted so desperately to believe that someone could purely love and choose me, and that's all that I wanted, was to be chosen. And yeah, I think I was really, really taken advantage of, and unfortunately a perfect victim for someone that needed something from me in this case. And there's a lot that I've had to reflect on and grow from without being given all of the information and the truth. So that's kind of a short, simple, vague explanation, but as people have gone through it, can understand very easily, it's not an easy answer. It's very complicated. It's very sad. It's so multi-layered. So take that as you will.
It's very hard for her to say the reason, brothers. She was too young, manipulated. Just excuses. Just say you wanted to live your single life while being married. You thought marriage would give you the same freedom as when you were single, hanging out with your group of friends, but when your husband set his boundaries, you got married and then walked away. Classic modern woman behavior. I'm sure her friends influenced the relationship. They were the first ones to take her out to celebrate on what was supposed to be her hardest day. And you might ask, why do you say that? The wall? Look at how she tries to silence negative comments. at how she says she deletes anything that doesn't fit her narrative, at how she goes out partying. There's a video coming up after this that will confirm all these doubts. Brothers, this is why men recommend living with a woman before marriage, because what she shows you when you're living together is exactly what you'll get in marriage. Like I said, these women are only after a ring. The moment you sign that paper, they change, and you're left messed up. But as she says, it's complicated to explain.
To be able to kiss whoever I want, hook up with whoever I want, or go to sleep if I want is the best feeling ever. I am 25 and I've been through so many lifetimes already in fields, and I just this is the best time. It's the most freedom. This is the most at peace. This is the best that my life has ever been. And I can make my own choices, and I can live, and I can just be present. And I just
Brothers, she's thrilled, living her best life. The hot dog season has begun. And then they tell me I'm wrong. Look at the first thing she said. Being able to kiss whoever she wants, hook up with whoever she wants, go to bed whenever she feels like it. It's the best feeling in the world. Then she says she can't explain why she got divorced. Like I said, and I'll say it again, if the toad comes from the streets, no matter how much you kiss it, it won't turn into a princess. These modern women aren't wife material. That man made the worst mistake of his life, spending money to marry a woman who only wanted a party. And what is she up to now? Touring around Europe, doing the passport sister thing, because, as I said, hot dog season is open. But remember, she's a woman, so she has to be the victim. She's the heroine who left her manipulator. You can't make this stuff up.
Congratulations to you, man. I heard you just closed on 3 multi-million-dollar contracts.
Yes. I was, yeah.
But then your wife left you. Life, bro.
So are you asking a question? Or?
Yeah, I guess the question is, man, did that make you be like, well, maybe this is timing, it just is what it is, or like...
I had a revelation. And the revelation is, young kings, focus on the bag. After you get the bag, choose what's best for you. Not what you want. Choose what's best for you. Before you get to the bag, do your due diligence to pray to whoever it is you pray to, or meditate that your blessings actually be on hold until you are aligned with your destiny so that you don't lose your blessings. I need you to understand. Focus on your bag. Pray, meditate that you have the discernment to have people in your life who are going to elevate you and not suck you dry.
Exactly. It was Denzel Washington who said, "Be careful at your highest moment. That's when the devil comes for you." What he didn't expect was for the enemy to be so close. In the United States, the divorce rate is at 80% initiated by women, 55% if the woman is over 45. What does that tell you? When you're closest to retirement, when you've saved the most as a man, when you've accumulated more wealth, that's when she comes for the bag. That's why he tells you, focus on the bag, kings. This isn't a message against women. A man of value doesn't hold grudges because he knows it only consumes the one who harbors it. He dusts himself off and moves forward, finding the positive side of failure but growing wiser. That's why, brothers, focus on yourself, your body, your finances, your health. Be selfish with your life and time, so that the one who joins you knows you love yourself, that your happiness depends on no one but you, and that anyone who comes into your life is a compliment, not your entire life. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this case in the comments. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. What do you think was the real reason behind this woman's decision to file for divorce? How is it possible that the divorce rate after 45 is at 55%? Why do you think it's so high? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.